It's happening again. They just can't help themselves. Of course, they were going to have to do it. We are seeing money printing happening already in this crisis. I'll be breaking down who's printing money and what it could mean for the markets. I also want to talk about Bitcoin, particularly who's been selling their Bitcoin, as well as looking at a potential trend break that we could be coming up to. My name's Lark. I make videos on investing. If you like that topic, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave a thumbs up on this video too if you do like this kind of content, and let's get into it. And so let's get into the first story. The Bank of England moves to calm the bond market rout after a big tax cut storm has come into play. So essentially, the BOE has started buying bonds. This is quantitative easing. They are intervening in the bond markets, which were in a bad state, with the pound falling, although even though there was a brief moment of excitement around this, the pound still traded down. The IMF even coming out and saying they do not recommend these policies. IMF, man, I tell you, these guys. Regardless, this is crazy because what is going on right now? You see, the UK, it's already in a recession. UK inflation going absolutely insane, particularly energy prices, but average inflation right now is hitting around 10%. So the inflation, super high, expected to go much higher. In fact, there are estimates that we could see 22% inflation. That's the highest estimate I've seen for the UK, over the coming months. That's crazy if that happens, obviously. But here we are, the Bank of England, they're out of options because money printing is really just one of the only things they can think of doing. So they had to come in spite of the huge inflation currently going on, and start quantitative easing again. Oh, and they're going to say it's just temporary, it's just transitory, but we all know what that actually means. We all know the implications of money printing. And the crazy thing is, it's only a matter of time before everybody else ends up joining the party. Now, why did they have to do this? One of the reasons that is being touted right now is that there would have been mass insolvency of pension funds had the Bank of England not intervened in the bond markets today, started quantitative easing, and started rebuying bonds. That is crazy. The bank said its actions will be carried out on whatever scale is necessary to stabilize the UK economy. You have to understand, they can't let all the pension funds collapse. They can't let the pension funds go insolvent. Buying bonds was supposed to be a safe thing, and yet the exposure could be massive. The potential here for people's savings, people's retirements, right? It's absolute insanity. So of course the Bank of England has to get involved here, and that's exactly what we're seeing right now happening. Joining, of course, along with the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, everybody is printing money. Quantitative easing, in spite of the crisis, in spite of the inflation, is happening. And it makes me think, if the Bank of England has gone back to quantitative easing, how long until the US Federal Reserve has to do it? Probably not that long. I think the US is going to keep their position a bit longer, perhaps. They're going to keep on course a bit longer. We have had at least inflation coming down in the USA for the past couple of months. We'll see what the next one comes up as, but it's only a matter of time before the Fed is forced to pivot. Markets are going to get too bad, pain's going to get too much for regular people, and they're going to have to pivot. It's simply what's going to happen. The only question is, when are they going to do that? Anyway, the S&P 500 did go up today. We did, of course, have that nice bounce here at price support around 36.30. So we did get a bounce there today. Finally, a green candle for the S&P 500. Of course, that generally tends to bode well for the cryptocurrency markets. More on that in just a moment. But real quick, if you do not have an account on Bybit yet, you need to get yourself one. It's the best place for trading Bitcoin, Ethereum, Matic, all of the top coins on futures. You can also benefit from their zero-fee spot markets. Totally awesome. And of course, if you use the link down below in the description to start your account, you get $4,450 in deposit bonuses. So you need to go and check that out if you are a trader. Now, let's talk about Bitcoin. And I want to talk about Uptober before we get into the hard-hitting statistics and charts and stuff. Can we all just agree, let's have a nice green October. Historically, Octobers tend to be pretty good months. Again, if we can see an S&P 500 rally coming into play here, then we could get Uptober for crypto, right? But a lot of this depends on what is going to happen with the stock markets. I think once we get the inflation data in particular, especially if that has come down once again, that could provide the space for a market rally. And the next Federal Reserve meeting is not until November 2nd, just 2 days before the US midterm elections. So there's a nice space there where we could have some decent market action coming into play. Now, Glassnode put this chart out as well. Long-term Bitcoin holder profitability has declined to levels last seen during the depths of the December 2018 bear market. Long-term holders are selling Bitcoin at an average loss of 42% right now. So you can see the last time things were this bad was the bottom of the previous bear market. Does that mean that we are at the bottom today? Definitive? No, of course not. We are in the bear market. We still have a lot of uncertainty at the macro level. Obviously, lots of craziness going on in the global economy right now. But I'll tell you this, we are a lot closer to a bottom than we are to a top right now. It may sound obvious, but continuing to dollar cost average in here, that's what I've been doing anyway. I am continuing to accumulate Bitcoin on a weekly basis throughout this bear market. I feel like future me is going to thank me for that. We've also seen Bitcoin miners having a big sell-off recently. So on that recent rally here, where we got up to, $22,500, $23,000, we had a big sell-off by miners in that rally up here. So that's a pretty serious sell-off. You can see we haven't had such a sell-off from miners for quite a while now. Last time we had something this big was, well, not even as big as this one. Actually, it was all the way back in early 2021. So that's pretty crazy when you think about it. This is a serious amount of Bitcoin flowing out from miners near a market bottom when demand is simply lower because of market conditions. And of course, they're putting this extra pressure on the markets. Now let's take a look at the Bitcoin charts here. I do want to talk first about our linear chart, which is coming up to this major downtrend line. Remember, this is the target if we do get our midterm pump rally thesis playing out. 25K would be, of course, the probably more likely level here. 22,500 is really just the next level up, but this up to $28,000, if we got a very bullish October, that could be a possibility. Now, let's just zoom in here a little bit so we can see what we're talking about here. So you can see we previously got on the 13th of September a rejection at this downtrend line right here. We are now basically working our way over to it, just waddling across here, getting close to basically running into that line again, but without a lot of momentum currently. Now, if we do pick up some momentum and get to come back up over this, that gives us then that potential where we do see the price coming up, the idea of a potential Uptober. However, if we get rejected here, and there is a lot of fear events in the world that can definitely build the thesis for, yes, a rejection is of course possible, again, at this downtrend line, then in that situation, we then start looking for potentially new lows for the year here coming in. So definitely something to be keeping an eye on. We'll see how the price reacts once we get to the chart. Of course, it's always the third option that basically nothing happens. The price just keeps ranging sideways right through the damn thing. That can also happen. We're of course hoping for a nice little juicy Uptober. Now, if we zoom in as well again on the charts here, we can see the range that Bitcoin has been stuck in recently. It's actually pretty crazy when you look at it. So basically, again, we're stuck in this situation where since the 19th of September, we've literally just been going sideways. I know there's been a little bit of wick action on either side of that, but basically all the daily closes have just been in between 19,500 and 18,500. $1,000 range, again, for Bitcoin, basically just moving sideways right now. This $18,500 area, very key level of price support here at the moment. And of course, if we are going to get any kind of Uptober happening, we have got to reclaim the 50-day exponential moving average. I know we talk about it a lot, but it's a very important line. It has been a very important line throughout this bear market, right? We see it being a continual area of price rejection. So be very curious to see how this ends up playing out. And this daily candle here too, by the way, just crazy. It literally hit the bottom of the range and the top of the range in one daily candle. That's the kind of price action we've been getting here recently for Bitcoin. But when we do break out of this range, I would expect volatility to come into play. Now, that can be upside or downside volatility, depending on, of course, all the other factors coming in, particularly what the S&P 500 is doing, because we know how much that has been dictating the direction of markets recently. So definitely something to keep an eye on here. How the price progresses for Bitcoin for the next few days could give us an indication of how we're going to be going for the month of October. Anyway, just my 2 Satoshis for the day. Let me know what you think down below. Do you think the Federal Reserve is going to be the next to announce quantitative easing? And if so, is that finally going to bring some pump back into the markets? Let me know your thoughts about that down below in the comment section. Thanks so much for watching today's video, and peace out till next time.